Call the meeting of the Hawarden, Iowa City Council to order on Wednesday, June 26, 2019 at 5:32 p.m. All present are council and staff, and everybody's here, so thank you very much. If you wish to address the council tonight, there will be three opportunities. First one will be an open business from the community. Second one will be a public hearing on the proposed drawings and so forth of the wastewater treatment. Then we'll be having a council hearing on a vicious animal designation on agenda item number 13. And we will present that at that time. Standard agenda item number 1A is approval of the June 12th, 2019 council meeting minutes, and they've been in your packet.
So moved.
There's been a motion by Travis. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. Jim, is that your car?
I walked.
Oh, all right. Any questions? All in favor then of the June 12th, 2019 City Council meeting minutes, say aye.
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 Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Next is claims for payment. We'll start with Rob to my left, please.
No questions.
Okay, thank you, Jen.
No questions.
John?
None, thanks.
Okay, Travis.
None, thank you.
Tim?
None. So moved.
Been a motion by Tim. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Travis. All in favor then of the April 26 claims for payment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Next is open business from the community. Hearing none, we'll move on to the mayor's report. Last week, Tuesday, our community experienced a devastating fire at Jeff's Radiator and Exhaust. On behalf of our community, I would like to thank all of those that assisted with the fire. Our thanks goes to the following: the 8 members of the Akron Fire Department, 10 members of the Alcester Fire Department, 12 members of the Ironton Fire Department, 27 members of the Hawarden Fire Department, 12 members of the Hawarden Ambulance, and numerous members of the Sioux County Conservation, Hawarden Police Department, and city employees. Also, there were a number of citizens that assisted in traffic control, and many provided water and Gatorade. The Community Supper Committee was very thoughtful in providing meals to those that were on scene. We are thankful that there were no personal injuries. Each fire department member is required to go through rehab by an EMT at the ambulance location to ensure that they were not having any medical issues while on site. However, just a reminder to everyone that there is no need to drive as close as you can to an emergency site. During these events, it's important to give the responders ample area to do their job. Once again, our community responded with safety and care. We had a good meeting, I thought, this morning with all of the public works entities, their chairpersons today, and went through maybe some recommendations and what went well and what went wrong. So I thought that was a great meeting this morning with those folks. Also, it's time to give an evaluation for Mike, and I have 3 examples of one that was used for Gary and 2 others. I don't know if council members wish to look at all of the evaluation samples, or if you want maybe Travis and I just to pick one and send them out and have those completed. How would you like to handle that? Any thoughts with that?
My thought is you pick one out and then we'll just go with that.
Okay, I agree.
Look it over.
Okay. All right. We will certainly do that, and we will get that completed, get those to you. So. We'll move on to staff reports, and that doesn't look like Jacob over there, but I think that's Pam.
It's me again.
Hello, welcome back. Anything from your perspective?
No, just doing the daily duties while he's away.
Great, and the staff members are getting paid, so they're
You betcha. You'd hear if they're not.
I haven't heard anything, so thanks
Yay.
for doing that. Travis, thanks for being with us. What's on your plate tonight?
I'd like to report that KW Electric will be starting on Main Street lighting project the week of July 8th. They plan to begin on the west side of Central, tearing out the old lights and installing the new. Contractor estimates 2 to 3 weeks on each side. We chose this option so we'd have at least half of Central Avenue lit up the whole time. There will be extra traffic and some parking spaces taken up during construction, so we urge residents to use caution around the construction time. The gas project, I believe Mike spoke about last meeting, that'll be beginning also the week of July 8th. Office staff will begin contacting the homeowners that'll be having work done in their yard and getting a new gas service. So we just want everyone to be aware of these projects that are going on. And lastly, citywide cleanup is over. We urge that no more garbage be brought down. We've got 4 full dumpsters and possibly 4 more to fill, and then we'll be all cleaned up. So,
That's always a process.
yes.
All right, thanks. Mike?
I handed you guys out a sheet before the meeting. I'd like some council input or approval or direction or consensus, whatever you guys want to call it, putting together an employee committee for staff-wise anyway, when some of the things come up. We did it kind of when we hired Larry and through the interview process, and I think the mayor and council input is very valuable on that. We got negotiations coming up. We're in the last year of our contract, and so sometimes it's nice to bounce ideas or talk to a smaller group, and then it gets brought to the larger group. So the smaller group can tell us we're way out of line, and then we don't bring something that everybody rolls their eyes, or we can come to a consensus on something that we feel that we should bring forward. So I think it'd be nice to put that together. I kind of outlined, kind of the responsibilities. It would not alleviate any of the responsibilities of the city administrator. They would still be there. It's more of a sounding board and a consensus group. So, so I don't know if you guys want to talk about that, or if you want to, tell me again that, it's either a good idea or a bad idea. There's other communities in our area that do the same thing, even with a city administrator in place, so.
I think it's a great idea. Some of that conversation, if you can have it outside of a full open meeting, I think is important to flush just some of the ideas out so it's not misconstrued or understood. When we're in a full council meeting, we've talked about this off and on for the last, 4 or 5 years. So I think it's about time.
Other thoughts?
I think what we did when we were interviewing as well, that it was really helpful to have the mayor and just some of us there just to kind of talk through those things. What other types of things are you thinking this would be involved?
Mostly with either employee issues like negotiations or things like that. If Travis has somebody that he has, then he would come to this group, or Corey, or depending on who the particular department head would be, that we would be able to talk through some of these things. Or I look over the last year and a half, and it would have been nice to, outside of hiring Larry, it would have been nice to have that, just, somebody you can go to and say, hey, what do you guys think? So.
Sounds like we kind of have a consensus. Is that what you're thinking too, John?
Yeah, is the intention to have representatives from council on there as a sounding board?
Yeah, it would be nice to have like the mayor and 2 council people, so that we can get together and talk about things. Obviously, any decisions that would be made would have to come back to full council with the same explanation, same information that would be there at those meetings. So,
Do you see it affecting staffing levels in the city?
I don't think so.
You wouldn't be taking significant time away, I should say, from employees?
No, no, because it would be mostly, I would be part of that group, and then, it would depend on if one of the department heads had something with their department specifically, they would then be involved in it. The ones that don't, if Travis had something with one of his employees, then he would be involved. Otherwise, Corey wouldn't in that one, and vice versa, things like that, so.
Sounds good.
Guess I don't really understand what you're saying you need. Couldn't you just do all this without council input or something? I
You
don't-
could, sometimes with the council as the governing board, it's nice to, you don't always know what they're thinking or where they're coming from. It's nice to just get an outside opinion other than mine or Travis's, since you guys are the ultimate governing board, to run things by. It just is, I think it would just make it nicer for us to know if we're on the right track or not on the right track on things.
If you wanted, I mean, fine, yeah, just, it seems to me you could have meetings and then just, if something important, then you could call a couple councilmen for advice, but
Right.
you do whatever you want. I mean, there's no reason we couldn't do this, so.
I just know, I know, talking to Rock Valley, they have the same kind of thing set up, and in talking to some of their department heads, they really like it because they can either continue a project with council consensus that the governing board is going to think this is a good idea, or it'll be quashed right there and not have to go to the full board to, if it's something that they think is just totally out of left field.
For it, yeah.
Along that lines, do we have anybody from council that wants two members to sit on that? Or I can pick a couple if we don't have any volunteers, or you get
I'd be
back to
fine
it.
if I, sure.
Rob, okay.
You
I
help
can
out,
also.
Travis?
just depending on time, yeah.
Second thing I have is residents who are using large plastic barrels or drums for garbage cans. We've been getting a couple complaints on that. They're so big and they hold so much and they don't have lids, so they get filled up with water, and our garbage guys can't dump them in the back of the truck. And according to our city ordinance, garbage cans have to be able to be sturdy but lightweight. They can't have over 65 pounds in them. They have to have handles for lifting and things like that. They have to be watertight, leak-proof. So those residents that are using the big drums, the big plastic drums or barrels, they're going to have to go to a regular garbage can. And if they don't, the garbage crew is just going to pass up their barrels. They had one the other day that was half full of water, full of garbage, half full of water. Two of them couldn't get it lifted in the truck, and there's just, I mean, they make regular garbage cans. They're fairly cheap, and so we do need to get rid of those. We did notify 3 homeowners today who had those, and we'll notify them as we can, but just so, just so the public knows, if you have one of those, please replace it with a garbage can. Last thing is we had our swimming pool inspection today, and that passed. And then in talking to our pool manager, on the nice days, it's been about 60 kids a day, so it's being well attended. And that is it.
Would you be maybe so kind to put that garbage information out on Facebook and the city website, so people that might not be listening to us can get that information
Yes.
too?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Larry.
Hello.
You've been busy.
Trying to, yes. So,
We appreciate that very much. What do you have for us tonight?
well, as I promised during the interview, I'd hit the ground running. So right now, I've either visited or talked to, and what I mean by that, I've either met with him one-on-one, we've talked to each other on the phone, or I've left messages for him. The number I've left messages for, just a handful, but over 90% of the city's businesses. To make sure we had all the businesses lined up, we took the chamber list and mixed it with our utilities list, where we had commercial, industrial meters, and tried to match those up. But right now, we only have about a handful to call. this week that don't have storefronts. They're operating out of their house, so on and so forth. So we plan to finish that up this week and next week. Also, we've been reaching out to downtown business downtown building owners, talking to them about plans and opportunities, finding out what their plans are, see if that building's coming available, or if they have any plans for renovations. Also, spoke with a couple of small business owners that we're looking to locate in our town. And then also reached out to some prospects that we just thought would be a good fit for our downtown and then also our industrial park. Through our Small Business Development Center partnership, we also have started talking with a couple of small business owners who are looking to start up in the city. Also reached out to Jeff after the fire. Actually, we just met him for the first time a week before the fire. And so I followed back up, and had some good discussions with him. But we also visited your place, Rick, and also Dollar General on the other side to kind of see how they were affected. And there were some effects, but not major structural effects. Also toured a local manufacturing site and also one of the local tourism facilities. Thank you, Rob. Got a great tour of what our parks are around here, and that helps us sell the quality of life part when we go to attract individuals to our community. Also teleconference with a few possible housing and apartment developers. I've got a couple of people that are interested, and they're going to be getting back with us. We also met with our Regional Small Business Development Center director when I was over at the Northwest Iowa Community College here this last week. Also reached out to our State of Iowa Business Assistance Program directors and also our regional representative for the Iowa Economic Development Authority, the Downtown Program Director, the LOIS and Certified Sites Program Director. I'll explain what the LOIS program is here in a second. And their Workforce and Housing Program Director. So we started making those connections. In the first part of August, I know myself, possibly Mike, are going to go down and visit them at their offices in Des Moines. Also been working with Siouxland Economic Development Corporation. Had a teleconference talking about their 504, SBA 504 loans, USDA loans, revolving loans, and micro loans. All these for our small business owners. While we were over at Northwest Iowa Community College, also attended Northwest Iowa Development's annual meeting and member meeting. And on the way there, Travis and I went to the Northwest Iowa Community Growth Breakfast at Northwestern College and made a quick presentation. We kept it under our 5 minutes, so we did what we were supposed to do. We also I attended the Appealing Downtown Vision Group meeting that was held just this week, actually on Tuesday. Also the Hawarden Community Foundation event on June 20th. And we've also been doing I've been doing some additional grant funding research on housing, business startup, and economic development. Also provided some recommendations on the Community Economic Development website for the page as we update that particular community development page, some ideas of what I think we should see out there. And then I'm starting some work this week on the LOIS system. The LOIS system is the statewide database for properties, and so we can actually sign in, update our properties, but it also provides not only data about the properties, it also provides demographics, not only for the community, but also demographics for those particular buildings, which is important when you look at having companies come in and occupy those. They need to know where their customer base is. But it also provides other things like knowledge of transportation routes, resources, electricity, gas, all those type of things that we'll be working together closely with the city staff. So. And then hopefully in next meeting or next couple of meetings, I'll be able to get you my spreadsheets. I've just basically developed a spreadsheet showing how I've interacted with each one of the businesses. Other than that, just your standard office stuff, grabbing phone calls, stuff like that. So, and I will say my first 3 weeks here has been great. I want to give praise to the city staff that I've worked with so far. Everyone has went up and beyond what they needed to do to help me kind of get acclimated to the community. So.
Take a breath. You've been busy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your energy and your work.
Thank you.
Corey, how about Chief of Police?
Just a couple things that have come up recently. Fireworks, we're getting close. Everybody's itching. I'm sure they got a surplus sitting in their yard.
They were
trying to-
itching last night, I think.
Yeah. There was some testing last night that we need to make sure that we don't violate the ordinances that we have so we can keep them as long as we have. I know there's a couple different cities around that only allow them on the 4th or the 3rd and the 4th. So that's not as fun if it's a, Wednesday, Thursday like it is this year. So we like the 7-day grace period. It'll start June 28th and go till the 4th of July. Every day up until the 4th has to be done by 10 p.m. And then on the 4th, we're allowing everybody to shoot them off until 11, same as last year. So please just help everybody else out and wait. That's all we ask. Excuse me, finishing up some of the nuisance abatement stuff. Still issuing citations for those that are non-compliant. Getting a lot of people to finally, it took a little bit more to light the fire for them to get things done, and it's now happening slowly but surely, so be patient on that. And then finally, we've been having a tremendous amount of dogs at large, and now with the heat coming, we're going to have a lot of calls on whether your dog's properly fed and watered, and we have a lot of people that are concerned about the animals. So make sure your dog has plenty of water because it is hot out there, especially if they don't have any shelter or anything like that. So other than that, that's it.
Good, thanks. Like I said earlier, thanks for your department on those things, too. Mr. Pickner?
Just do what Corey says. You want to have to go to Orange City.
I thought it's not a bad town, but there's spots you don't want to be there, so. Any questions for staff? They've given us a lot of information tonight. Any questions or comments from council members today? Okay, thank you. We will move then to other agenda items. Agenda item number 3. Agenda item number 3 is a third reading of an ordinance 708, again amending the Code of Ordinances in regards to the ambulance rates. This is the third reading, the final reading if it passes tonight. Is there a motion for the third reading of ordinance 708?
So moved.
Moved by Tim. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. Questions, clarifications? Hearing none, a roll call vote, please, for the third reading of ordinance 708.
Kurth,
Yes.
Olson,
Aye.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Bergsma,
Aye.
Clucky,
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, the third reading of ordinance 708 passes. Agenda item number 4, another third reading, ordinance number 709, again amending the Code of Ordinances in regards to gas utility rates. Is there a motion for this reading?
So moved.
Moved by Rob. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. Questions for this one? Comments? Hearing none, a roll call vote, please, for the third reading of ordinance 709.
Bergsma,
Aye.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Kurth, Clucky,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, third reading of ordinance 709 passes. Agenda item number 5, second reading of ordinance 710. This is an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the city by amending and adopting the service rules. Again, the staff had gone through and cleaned up the service rules, hadn't been done for a number of years. So this is essentially wording and those types of things within the service rules.
So moved.
Been a motion by Travis, seconded by Tim. Roll call vote, please, for the second reading of ordinance 710.
Clucky,
Aye.
Bergsma,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Kurth,
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, second reading of ordinance 710 passes. Agenda item number 6, this would be a resolution 2019-31, terminating the paying agent and registrar and transfer the agent agreements with Bankers Trust and approving the new paying agent and registrar agreements. Would you give us an overview with this, please?
Right now, we have 3 notes with Bankers Trust, 2 of our electric loans, and our 16th Street loan. Bankers Trust has sold out to another corporation, so that gives us the opportunity to look at fees and things like that, or gave our financial advisor, D.A. Davison, an opportunity to look. We had 2 choices. We had Bank of Kansas Financial out of Omaha, and the other one, the name escapes me, but they looked at the rates of them. We have to pay them yearly rates to hold our notes. And Bank of Kansas was the one that would save us the most money in transferring to. Many cities in Iowa are going along with their recommendation with Bank of Kansas, so that's the one that they recommend.
And no penalty or anything since the originator
No
sold?
penalty, the interest rates will remain the same, just the yearly fees that we pay them will be a little less.
So moved.
It's been a motion for Resolution 2019-31 by Travis. Is there a second to
I'll
that
second.
motion?
Second.
Jan? John? Okay. Seconded by John. Roll call vote, please, for Resolution 2019-31.
Olson,
Aye.
Clucky,
Aye.
Bergsma,
Aye.
Kurth,
Aye.
Feldhacker.
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, Resolution 2019-31 passes. Agenda item number 7, Resolution 2019-32. This would fix a date for the public hearing and the proposal to enter in an electric revenue loan agreement and borrow the money thereunder, not to exceed $2,950,000.
And this public hearing would take place, we need the funds for the transmission line coming in and also the south feeder loop. The engineering hasn't been done. We got preliminaries on the south feeder loop. That's why it says not to exceed. We wanted to allow a little cushion in there for, just in case it was higher than what the engineers roughly thought. And this was without them pricing everything out like they do on other things. So this will allow us at the public hearing to borrow the funds at the next meeting.
Is there a motion for Resolution 2019-32?
So moved.
Moved by Jen. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Rob. Roll call vote, please, for Resolution 2019-32.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Kurth,
Aye.
Clucky,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Bergsma.
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, Resolution 2019-32 passes. Agenda item number 8. 8A is a public hearing on the proposed drawings and specifications, proposed form of contract, and estimate of cost for the construction for the wastewater facility improvements, and taking bids then thereafter. Any preface prior to the public hearing?
What this is for is the drawings we've already gotten and looked at. The form of contract, what that basically is we have to approve one general contractor, not all the subs and everything. So DGR set the form of contract, and then their estimate of the cost was somewhere around $3.179 million. So it's a public hearing to open up for that.
I will then open the public hearing on the proposed drawings and specifications. Any comments from council members? Receive any comments written or directed to the city offices?
No.
Anyone in attendance wish to comment in the public hearing in regards to this project? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing, which leads us to agenda item number 8B, Resolution 2019-33. This is approving the proposed drawings and specifications, proposed form of contract, estimate of cost for the construction. Is there a motion for Resolution 2019-33?
So moved.
Moved by Jen, seconded by Tim. Roll call vote, please, for Resolution 2019-33.
Kurth.
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Bergsma,
Aye.
Clucky.
Aye.
A 5-0 roll call vote. Resolution 2019-33 passes. Agenda item number 9, Resolution 2019-34, approving the bid for the wastewater facility improvement project. We'll turn again to Mike for the preface for that, please.
We had 4 bidders for this project. The low bid was Hawarden Construction out of Canton. The engineer recommends that we go with the low bid. He didn't find any reason not to. Has worked with Hawarden's and has been pleased with their work in the past. The bids range from 2.8 to 3.4 million. Even the 2.8 is about 10% over engineer's cost or engineer's estimate. We've been in checking back, then we go to our financial advisor and say we need more money. He redid the rate. We figure the rate is still going to be at or in December we were looking at a $32 base rate with a $2 per 100 cubic feet charge. In figuring the new rates, we're going to be at $30 base rate and $2.25 per 100 cubic feet charge. So we will have to adjust that, but it's still in the ballpark we were looking at. Both our financial advisor and our SRF people had said that all these bids lately, everything they've been bidding is coming in high. There's plenty of work out there, and they're just coming in higher.
Also, recommendation from DGR that if you wish to go out and rebid, that things could be even.
Right. He gave us a couple of choices. One was to increase the amount of the loan. The other one was to rebid, but he said he's afraid if we go out to rebid, it's going to be higher yet. There's really nothing in the construction that we felt that we could take out and add later. So that's why we checked on increasing the loan and what it would do to the rates. So.
Questions or comments?
So moved.
There's a motion from Travis for Resolution 2019-34,
I'll second.
seconded by Jen. This again approves the bid for the wastewater improvement project with Hawarden Construction. Call for a roll call vote for Resolution 2019-34, please.
Bergsma,
Aye.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Kurth,
Aye.
Clucky,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, resolution number 2019-34 passes. Agenda item number 10, resolution 2019-35. This is a resolution approving a new solid waste contract and disposal contract with Orange City Sanitation. Would you give us some overview on that, please?
Yeah, as we all know, when Independence Waste was unable to pick up our garbage, Orange City Sanitation came in and has done a great job. We've been working back and forth with Brad, who's in the audience, on a new rate. Over the years, Independence Waste has given us a very exceptional rate, even when we compare to so many of the other communities. So in working out a rate, the rate we got worked out is $13.35 per resident per month for a 2-year contract with the option to do a third contract. Then we do have our cleanup days costs, administrative fees, and landfill testing fees that are going to have to add another $4 onto that. So it'd be our recommendation that we go and sign the 2-year contract with the option for the third.
Are they doing our city cleanup? Is that-
Yes, yep. Our transition to them, except for the 2 days when our garbage stopped, has been seamless since then. So we're real pleased with the job they're doing.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion by Travis, seconded by Rob, for Resolution 2019-35, which approves the new solid waste collection and disposal contract with Orange City Sanitation. Further comments before I call for the vote? Hearing none, roll call vote, please, for Resolution 2019-35.
Clucky,
Aye.
Bergsma,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Kurth.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, Resolution 2019-35 passes. And as we stated at a previous meeting, our thanks too as council and mayor for that organization stepping up in a short manner to assist us in our community with that situation. This leads us then to a first reading of Ordinance 711. This is an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the city by amending the residential solid waste collection and disposal rates. Do you wish to go through that again, or is that self-explanatory enough to council for that?
And I can explain it again, obviously with our rate going up from the rate we had from Independence to a rate which, I look at, even if we raise it to the $17.50, which is down comparable to other communities, we're right in the same ballpark as far as garbage rates, and a lot of those other communities don't have a landfill that needs to be tested every year at a cost of $15,000 and do cleanup days different and things like that. So, it's just the cost of moving our garbage.
Okay. Is there a motion for the first reading of Ordinance 711?
I'll make a motion and move to waive the second and third reading.
Jim, does that need to be done separately?
I think I know I've said something different in the past, but I believe we should have a motion, vote on it the first time, have another motion, vote on it second, another motion, and vote on it the third.
Okay.
That's something, I think I may have given you wrong advice in the past once,
Okay.
so.
There's been a motion for the first reading of Ordinance 711 by Travis. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. Call for the first reading of Ordinance 711. Roll call vote, please.
Olson,
Aye.
Clucky,
Aye.
Bergsma,
Aye.
Kurth,
Aye.
Feldhacker.
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, first reading of Ordinance 711 passes. And as was stated, it's very rare that we go through second and third readings, but timing is such as this, I would entertain a motion for the second reading of Ordinance 711. It's been moved by Tim. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jen. Roll call vote then, please, for the second reading of Ordinance 711.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Kurth,
Aye.
Clucky,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Bergsma.
Aye.
On a 5-0 roll call vote, second reading of Ordinance 711 passes. I then would call for a motion for the third reading of Ordinance 711.
So moved.
Been a motion by Jen. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Rob. Roll call vote, please, for a third reading of Ordinance 711.
Kurth,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Feldhacker,
Aye.
Bergsma,
Aye.
Clucky.
Aye.
Again, now the third reading of Ordinance 711 passes. We have a consent agenda, item number 12, for a request for Adam Waterman Main Street Liquors for Class E liquor license renewal. Is there a motion for that consent agenda?
So moved.
Been moved by Jen. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by John. Thank you. All in favor of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 5-0. Last agenda item other than adjournment would be a council hearing on a vicious animal designation per the Hawarden City Code number 56.04. We will pass to our legal counsel for guidance with this, please.
Thank you. I don't know who all is here with regard to that, but the way we're going to handle it is we'll start out with Corey. Will give some testimony, some background on what's happened. After he's done, some of the people that he has here that are in support of the designation of the dog as a vicious animal will have an opportunity to speak. And then if the owners and people who feel the dog should not be declared vicious are here, they'll have an opportunity to speak. That's my plan, and I will probably ask that anybody that's going to testify step up to the podium, and then I will probably direct some questions towards them. And otherwise, I'll let them speak for themselves. And the first one I would like to go to the podium would be Corey.
All right. On June 19th at around 3:20 p.m., we were dispatched to the 800 Block Avenue C. We got a call of a dog bite involving a 13-year-old child in the Frog Pond area. Upon arrival, Officer Milliken met with Ashley, a minor, and spoke with her about what had happened. To make it as simple as possible, Seth, her son, was walking their dogs down the 800 Block Avenue C. While he was walking the dogs down the street, a dog at 803 Avenue C, described as a larger white dog, had broken a cable from the front area of the home and proceeded to run towards Seth and the other three dogs. During all that commotion, Seth was bitten in the hand, and I don't know for sure whether or not one of the dogs was harmed in the incident. It's my feeling, according to the ordinances that we have set in place, that it's our duty to protect everybody within the community from vicious animals. This dog was not provoked in any nature by Seth or the other animals. Sometimes dogs just have that type of reaction. The other portion of it is the cable that was holding the dog back was inadequate to do so. I don't know why the dog owner wouldn't have purchased a larger chain or cable for that animal, but because of that as well, the dog was able to get free and cause damage. If we look at 5601 sub 6 and 5604 sub 1, we have to deem the dog vicious. I'm requesting that we do so we don't have that dog return back into our community. The area of Frog Pond has a lot of kids. There's a lot of parks, bicycle riders, a lot of people walking their dog, and I feel they have the right to feel safe in their little area down there and in their own yards, and it's kind of been a problem down there as of late that we're trying to rectify as well. At this time, since the dog has shown forward aggression and has bitten someone, the owner of the animal has made arrangements with the Sioux Falls Humane Society to board that animal until this hearing could be done and we can determine what we'd like to do with the animal.
Okay, Corey, that call summary report that you included in the council's packet, was that Johnny Milliken's report?
It is.
Okay, was he was the author of that?
Correct.
Now, did you serve a notice on the owner of the dog?
I have.
And is that notice also part of the council packet?
Correct. It's labeled vicious animals and it has some highlighting portions on it.
Could you tell me who you served and how you served?
It was served in person to Robin Pritchard, the owner of the animal, at 803 Avenue C on June 22nd in the late evening by Officer Ethan Druin.
Okay, was that you that served it?
No, it was Ethan Druin.
Ethan Druin. Okay, thank you. And in that, are you aware, does Robin Pritchard acknowledge that she's the owner of the dog?
She has.
Okay. All right, I have nothing further for you.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak? If you would, please come up to the podium. Could you identify yourself to the council?
I am Ashley Miner. I live at 104 8th Street in Hawarden, Frog Pond area.
Okay, Ashley, thank you. If you want to go ahead and speak a little bit.
So this has been an ongoing issue with these dogs, who are also pit bulls. This started, the first call was placed to the Sioux County Sheriff's Office May 8th, approximately 8 o'clock in the morning. We've had these dogs running at loose, not just by one residence, but by two. There's been 3 calls made prior to the attack. In one of those calls was the morning of this incident by my husband, because there was one of these dogs in our yard growling at him. After my stepson was bit, as well as my other dog, I also had to call Corey again on Friday because they were at large again. It seems to be an ongoing issue, and my kids don't feel safe. And I guess I'm coming to you to see how we can, as a community, to prevent this from happening again. Yes, it was a bite, it was bad enough, but it could have been worse.
Ms. Minor, can you describe the bite? Where was your stepson bitten?
He was bit on his right, the
Okay, I see that punctured the skin. That's correct. What's your stepson's name?
Seth Persinger.
Can I ask you, did you do anything to provoke the dog?
I was just walking him, and then the dog started running at me.
Okay, thank you. Ashley, you described the dog as a pit bull. I mean, we don't really know for sure if they're pit bulls or not, do we?
I would say the characteristics would say so.
Sure. Is there more than one?
There's 3 of them. One of them is quarantined at the Sioux Falls Humane Society, and a all black one, and then a white one with spots on it, black spots, still resides in Frog Pond.
Okay, and the animal that did the biting that we're discussing here today, how is that animal all white?
That was, I believe, a brown brindle looking pit bull.
It was white with some brown spots.
Okay, white with brown spots. Okay. I don't have any further questions for you, Ashley. I don't know if you have anything further, why you can speak about it.
I guess it just comes down to, I understand that we have city ordinances, and I've talked with Corey a lengthy amount of time on what we can do to prevent and enforce these, and by looking at our ordinances, it's basically...
Ma'am, just for one thing, for here today, this hearing is to determine whether that dog that bit your stepson is a vicious animal or not.
Okay.
So that's kind of what we want to talk about today.
That's all I have then.
Okay, thank
for
you.
now.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Was there anyone else that would like to speak about the topic of the hearing? Okay. Corey, you said there's something else you'd like to add to your testimony?
Just so we don't get confused, Ashley's spoken of several different dogs. That's aside the point. We need to concentrate on this white dog that's owned by Robin Pritchard. The other dogs that have been at large recently are from another residence and are a side of this case at hand. So I just want clarification on that.
Thank you. I was getting confused myself.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you. Does the council have any questions for anybody that's testified?
Is he walking 3 dogs too? Is that what you had 3 dogs? And they were all leashed?
That's correct. They were leashed. That's what I'm hearing? Yes. Is there anybody here that wants to testify on the other side of the issue? Okay. Well, I guess I think what the council has to do is consider the evidence that you've heard decide whether or not the dog was vicious, meets our definition of vicious, and then you have the opportunity either, we'll write a written decision based on what you find, and you can either give the dog a probationary period, or we can order that they euthanize the dog. If they don't euthanize the dog, then our police officers would euthanize the dog. My understanding is that it's in Sioux Falls, so I'm just assuming we're not going to do anything unless that dog is in our jurisdiction. So, I mean, that's how I see it anyway. And,
So in other words, if they don't bring it back, if they give it away, it's gone then.
well, I don't think we can reach out to Sioux Falls.
Well, that's
So,
what I mean, that
yeah.
technically, the only way we euthanize it then is if it brought it back.
Yeah, and I mean, we want to keep our citizens safe. We're not really in the business of wanting to euthanize dogs. In some cases, the dog probably, had it, with the right care, the dog wouldn't be subject to it, so. But, I guess we kind of need to know those two things from you, and then we'll prepare a written decision. The written decision is going to have to go out to the owner. The owner's going to have a period of time to appeal your decision if they wish to. Or these folks can appeal it if you find the animal wasn't vicious.
Well, it sounds like he was vicious, right? I mean, he bit a kid.
Don't ask me.
Well, I'm saying.
You're the
That
judge.
sounds like it's vicious dog. If I get bit, I'll euthanize him myself. I mean, that's not very good to have a dog running around biting kids. So
I agree.
bring him back, we'll have him euthanized, so keep him out. Should we make a motion for that then, or?
should that be directed?
Someone could make a motion to find that the dog is vicious or isn't.
He's vicious, I make a motion.
I second.
There's been a motion by Tim, seconded by Travis, to find the dog in question to be a vicious animal. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
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 Those opposed? This council, that passes 5-0. Mr. Pickner.
And
will-
the next step is, what you're going to order, whether you're going to order that the dog would be euthanized or come up with some type of probationary period for the dog.
It's been an ongoing situation. Sounds like they're not probations. I mean, if you warn somebody earlier and they don't do it, sounds like they already had their probation.
I would not be for a probationary.
Yeah,
Not either.
homeowner's responsible for their dogs. They got to take care of them, make sure they can't get out and attack other people. So, in my opinion, it just doesn't need to come back to Hawarden. So,
Yep. Do you need that in a motion?
It'd be nice just to have a motion then that we'll have the dog subject to euthanization.
So moved.
Moved by Tim,
A second.
seconded by Jen. This again, motion for euthanization of the deemed vicious dog from the city council. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 5-0.
We'll write up something and get it served on the owners.
Okay. Jim, thank you for your assistance with that. Thank you for those folks that attended this council hearing. Our next regular stated meeting will be Wednesday, July the 10th. That'll be obviously after the 4th of July, so we hope, as we stated earlier, everyone is safe with 4th of July and fireworks and those types of things. I would entertain a motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Moved by Jen. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Rob. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you so much for everybody's work. City Council's adjourned.